Hello, everybody. My name is Nicolas Pitalier, and I will be teaching you how to navigate inside Unity. So, first off, once you open Unity, it'll get you this window will pop up called Unity Hub. Unity Hub is the the first thing you see where you can install different versions of Unity, see all of the projects that you've created, learn that you have a lot of resources to learn how to properly uh, utilize Unity, and finally, a way to create new projects. So this is the first window that you'll use in this specific tutorial. I think you can use whichever prefabricated um, project or template. You can use whichever you prefer. In this case, I think I will start with for example, the third person is good enough. So I'll start putting here the project name. So basic tutorial. Okay, and where should it be saved? So the location, I'll save it in the place that I've already said here in here, because that's where I save all of my Unity tutorials, so or Unity projects. So I'll save it there. And once you choose which scene you're gonna use, I'm gonna use a high definition render pipeline, or HDRP, just because I like I like the starting base they create. So we'll create it. It'll take a few minutes to open up the window and the settings necessary. So you just have to wait for a few minutes. And we're back. So this is the window that should have popped up. Depending on each project that you opened as a template, well, it'll change. But if you chose the HDRP 3D, this is the window that should open. And you can see you have different windows all around, but this is basically the setting or the main window for your project. So I'll explain each part individually. Uh, to begin with, if you see on top, there's this different signs. This is the play button, which, as you can imagine, when you press it, it'll play the game or the experience. So it takes a little bit of time for the building of the game. So compiling all of the code into a functioning game. And once you're here, you can navigate all around. You can move. Pretty basic stuff, but well, you're finally inside Unity editor. So once you press it again, it kills the game, and then you're back at editing. This is very useful because you can test almost in real time all the changes that you implement throughout the game. So very useful tool. The same thing if you're playing and then suddenly you just want to wait for a second, you can simply you're here and there's something you want to check. You can pause it and work on it, and then when you play it, you keep the where you are at the moment. So it's very useful. These are very useful tools. So that's the first part. Then, if you see here in the middle, you have different tabs. Each tab has a different usage. The first one is your scene. This is where you be working the most, and this is where you can actively move around every piece. You can work directly into the game editor. So you can move it, you can navigate throughout your map, you can rotate stuff, scale them, change their pivot points from center to global. So basically the basic transformation of objects inside the editor, you'll be doing it here. In this part, you can only see the game objects that are within the level you're playing. which means that if this object is here, it means you're going to see it in the game. So what happens if I'm really far away and I have a selected object? If I press the button F, it'll focus on the object and then I can work on it. So it's a very useful hotkey. You will use it a lot. So this is the scene. Here you have the game. This game basically is the camera, which is here. You can see the camera that where you're gonna start and your starting frame, and this is the game window where you can see when you're playing. Then you have the asset store. The asset store is a whole different thing. It's a marketplace for different 3D models, codes, I don't know, non-player character systems, everything that you want to implement into your game that you don't want to do, or you might not have the budget or the time to do it yourself. You can find it here in the asset store. Most of the things you're gonna look for, probably there'll be an asset that you can buy from here and that you can work from that part. So it's really useful to get a little work ahead, and then you personalize that plugin or that asset, and then it gets you very far very fast. So super useful. Keep that in mind. There's nothing bad about using external assets, and even more so when you're starting and when you're an independent studio, because you have to be a one-man army. So it's very useful to keep that in mind. So this is in the main section. Here, you have what you call a hierarchy. So you can see here the hierarchy. In this, you have all the objects that are within your game scene will be listed here. So everything that has to be here in the game scene, you will see it in here. So, for example, this ball is right here, or this room, and the room, for example, you can have it in here. Let me close this thing. So you can see you have, for example, the room or the ball here. Everything you're having in your scene, you will find it here in the hierarchy. It is very useful. Sorry, I might be repeating that a lot, but it's important to know all of these things because, for example, if I want to move the room and the ball is out of the room, it's not parented to the room, and I suddenly move the room. Let me see if I can move it a little bit. What do I have here? Nothing. So let's say I move the room, the ball will move according to the room's center or pivot point. For example, if I have something else, for example, this glass thing, and I parent it to the room, whenever I move the room, all objects within that parent will move together. So it's important to always have a good order within your hierarchy in order to avoid terrible mishaps during the production process. So very important to always remember that. So these are the main windows. You have here your project window, which is all of the files that are within your project. You will find them here. You can also create new objects or game objects, either programming scripts or audio mixers or scenes, complete scenes or folders. So this is like your main asset library that you create for the game. Everything that you're going to use has to be in here. So, for example, we can create, in this case, for the ball, a new material. In this case, I called it the black material, but I'll create another one. So you see, black material, and to confuse all enemies, we're going to make it blue. So once you select an object, you can see in the inspector, you have all the properties of that object. So if I have this ball, I'll have all the properties of that ball. If I have a material in here, I have all the properties. So this black material, we're going to make it blue to confuse the enemies. Never let them know your next move. And once we drag it into an object, we can see the object now has a property of, let me select it. We can see if we drag it into this ball, it has many objects, but the basic part now has the black material, the blue black material. So basically, this is it. This is all the game windows that you're gonna use. Obviously, all of them are completely interchangeable. So, for example, if it's easier for me to have my hierarchy here, I can just drag and drop it. You can also add different tabs. If I like, for example, to have, I don't know, an animation tab in here, I can use it. And I can also close it with the right click, close tab. So very important to know that you can personalize your work space however you like it. Honestly, I personally prefer the way it's originally made, because I find it, I'm already used to it. But if you guys prefer it any other way, well, feel free to arrange it however you guys like. Then finally, you have in here, very important, here on the file, you have build settings. This is really important, and even more so at the end of the production. This is where you're gonna choose what output you're gonna give your game or your experience or your app. For example, if you want to make an Android game or a PC game or a PlayStation 5 game or Xbox One, so that's the way you choose your different builds. Once you choose it, you just switch platform, and then you're gonna build it specifically for that platform. So keep that in mind. Finally, on the edit, you go to the project settings tab. Here you can see all of the plugins that you put into your game. For example, the ads plugin that at this point I don't have into my game, or the VFX plugin, or if you are going to do a virtual reality project, well, you have to put a specific plugin into it. So this is where you have all of the project settings, for example, the high definition rendering or cloud build. So everything that you're going to put into the project, in terms of plugins or of external sources, you're going to find it here. So I hope that summarizes a little bit the basic layout of Unity. And thanks a lot for your time. Hope it was interesting enough, and I'll be seeing you in a while.